are going down the St. Johns River,
Right.
and these animals are in a very natural habitat. That's what most zoos do. And they want it to look like these animals are not in cages. They're, you know, they're in their natural habitat.
Created to look like their natural habitat.
Yeah.
That's
So,
great.
you know, we've gone and done some kind of recon down the St. Johns River and taken tons of photos of different cypress trees and stuff so we can kind of recreate this for the zoo. And that's one of the things that artificial environments is able to do, which is really, you know, we really enjoy that.
Great.
So it's, you know, we're just actually starting that this week.
All right. What's your expected completion of the project? When would it open to the public, the new exhibit that you've created?
I think it's going. We have about 5 weeks to complete this,
Oh my goodness.
which is
That's a push.
yeah, it's a push, but we can handle it. And they've got a pretty good head start on it. They've got some of the structural elements already done, so we should be able to get through that pretty easily. But I think they're hopefully going to have the animals in there within probably within 7 to 8 weeks.
How large of an area is that habitat that you're actually working on over there, Dante?
It's got a swimming pool and an enclosed area that's probably, I would say, 70 feet long by 35 feet deep.
So besides the area that you're actually working on, they have other area that they go out into, but this is their, what I would call their recreation area for the otters, more or less?
It is. It's kind of like an enclosed area that they're in. That's just, you know, to make it
so
simple.
They can play and people can watch them at play and enjoy
One
their
of
new
the
habitat.
coolest thing about it is that there's going to be 2 very large windows, and the pool actually fills up. So when we do this pool, the water level is going to be right in the middle of the window, so where kids can come up from the outside and look through the windows and see them underwater, and then you can kind of see them also above water on the land and doing stuff. And we're going to create a couple cypress trees that are on the side that have little feeder holes in it where you can put little fish
so
or
you're
shrimp.
making the cypress trees
Yeah,
too.
we're making artificial
very
the whole
nice.
cypress trees, and you know, children and you know, visitors of the zoo can put fish into like a branch of the cypress tree, and it'll drop in, and you'll see the otters come in and eat. See, it's really
Very
pretty
cool.
cool.
Well, and again, Dante does not only do this, but mostly in residential pools and stuff, the grottos and different things. So again, this is your perfect opportunity to call in today at 407-774-0810 if you'd like to ask what a grotto is, what type of waterfalls or different things that you could add to your existing pool. Or if you're planning a pool right now, this is a really good chance to get Dante on the phone, and I'm sure he'd be more than happy to come out and give you a free estimate.
We'd be very happy to do that.
Yes, that's it. While you're talking, give us a phone number and stuff where people could call in, you know, and request you to come out and everything. And we're going to have a video here on Facebook later on, so you can actually see all of us talking. And well, like I said, we wouldn't recommend Dante if we didn't think he was absolutely the finest pool contractor in Central Florida, if not the most interesting pool contractor in the world, from the most interesting builder in the world, and the most interesting contractor in the world. And that's an inside joke.
Boy. Okay, Dante.
It sounds like a Dos Equis commercial.
It is a Dos Equis commercial.
Yeah, we made some jokes about that at the home show.
Well, because you know, we talked about that, and we'll go into our personal here, is that I had my picture taken with a large cutout of, well, we got to find out what that guy's,
The
most interesting man in the world, right?
And
then
Dante had his picture taken with him.
well, he was sponsoring a golf
Tiger
tournament thing, right? And he did a cutout with Tiger Woods. It was so funny that.
We need to get the
I'll send that to you.
Yeah,
You can post it on Facebook.
Yeah.
It's pretty hilarious.
Yes.
Right. So anyways, we are talking with Dante from Ultimate Pool Designs, and call in at 407-774-0810 if you do have questions. But
what's your contact information? Because we were going to have you give that.
Our office number is 407-260-5654 for all appointments. Like I mentioned, we're a 2-part company, so we're Artificial Environments, which is kind of the theming, and then Ultimate Pool Design, which is what we do all of our permitting and contracting for residential and commercial swimming pools. Our website is for the rock division is customrockwork.com. And for swimming pools, which are not just lagoon-style pools and crazy grottos and stuff like that, but it can be very elegant and crisp, clean lines and modern pools, all kinds of
vanishing
Any
edge,
style that
contemporary.
Yeah. So it's good for us to be able to mix up the mediums and use some different architectural stuff. But
yeah,
that
we'd like to do
website
that too.
is ultimatepoolddesign.com.
Ultimate
Pools. I
One
think
question I
that's
have for Dante is, and I've been dying to ask this, what trends do you see now from your customers as far as pool designs? What do you see
Well, you know, I think somewhat of some of the newer trends and that we're doing a lot of is travertine upgrades for the decking.
Oh, yeah.
I see more and more pools doing paver decking now because you don't have to deal with the concrete and the cracking and some of the stuff that happens when you have a regular concrete deck. So a lot more pavers, especially going to travertine because it's fairly inexpensive upgrade compared to what it was 5 years ago. And then glass tile, the little 1-inch mosaic glass tile, that's become very popular. It seems like we're doing half of the pools we do are they're saying, hey, you know what, we're doing this once, let's do the upgrade now, and it looks beautiful.
Well,
It
I
really
think
does.
that's one of the big advantages with the travertine, because a lot of people, we started in the 70s, and the upgrade from just the old knockdown finish was the Chattahoochee, and then that Chattahoochee was like the worst stuff in the world, especially when you have to redo pools.
Yeah.
And then we have so many people wanting pavers anymore on their porches or their driveways to blend it in, and we used to always break and just have the patio be in pavers, and then the pool would be the knockdown or something else. So when you can run that flow all the way through, and I just think it's so much more elegant. And literally, travertine is just, not that much more than the concrete deck and everything. And you don't have to worry about the cracking situation that we used to with concrete decks. Even though Dante and we do everything to prep and do the best that we can, expansion joints, concrete always seems to crack in the wrong place.
It's hard to control it. That's for sure. I mean, you can do a lot to help that. Some certain amount of compaction and rebar and fiber in the concrete, proper footers. You can do a lot to control a concrete deck, but a paver deck doesn't crack.
Allowing it to dry more slowly, like we have people,
Yeah.
as far as their walls, their stucco walls, keeping it, watering it down.
Curing concrete
Curing it
is
slowly.
in
is
Florida
key.
with the humidity or the wind and stuff drying out. People don't understand it. When we come from up north originally, we do basements, and we would have to cover these things with burlap, and you have to do a slow cure. There's curing agents and different things. And that's the thing about pools too, believe it or not, when he's shooting those pools in and doing things at that point, people don't understand that you can. You ever seen a concrete pool float there, Dante?
I have, not one of ours.
No,
but
no,
I have been
not
called
one.
out to a job one time where somebody, had me come look at redoing some of their pool, and I noticed it was lifted up about a foot on one side, and was wondering what I could do for them. And I was like, well, I mean, it can be fixed. It's not the easiest thing, but there's a lot of stuff that's jeopardized when your pool floats. Your plumbing cracks, everything goes wrong.
Why does the pool float? What has happened?
Well, if you think of a pool, it's a vessel. I mean, it's going in the ground, and it's built
like a
a boat.
ship.
Yeah.
It's built like a boat,
Barge.
a cruise ship. You see these huge cruise ships that are built that float across the water, and they're hollow on the inside, and it keeps them buoyant, so they float. No matter how heavy that cruise ship is, it floats.
Ah.
Well, when you build a swimming pool, and it's built like that as well, and you're putting it into a spot here in Florida where our water table is generally very high, you sink that into the ground. A lot of times, the water table's up higher than the pool. So if you drain a pool without doing the proper precautions, it can actually just pop out of the ground and float like a boat.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
it lifts right up.
And
We,
that's why
uh,
they never fully drain pools, or they tell you don't
Well, they
fully
actually
drain
put
a pool.
holes in the
You
bottom
can,
of them.
yeah, you can drain them. You just have to really get with a professional that knows what they're doing. All pools, when they're built, in the main drains in the bottom, there are a couple drain plugs, and it lets the static water pressure in. So if you're going to drain a pool, the proper thing to do is call somebody. They can go down. We dive the pools before we even drain them. If there's water in them, we jump in and dive into there, pull the plugs out, and then you can drain them. And if there's groundwater, it'll let it in, and then you're fine.
I've actually had
but-
people, when we're building new homes, complain that there's water, dirty water in their pools. And we would explain to them, well, we can get that water out of there.
Yeah, we
but-
don't dive those.
Yeah, well, we may not be so happy when that pool floats up. I've only seen that once, and then it's interesting because we used to do gasoline installation and repair gasoline tank installations. Groundwater in Florida, you can have groundwater at about a foot underneath, and it's something that if you come from other places up north, or the groundwater, they don't have groundwater.
It never
like-
occurs to you that the situation is like that in Florida. If you've come from another place and you are not familiar with our groundwater tables.
Well, that's it. Well, folks, again, we've got Dante in today from Ultimate Pool Designs, and we would love to hear from